from Joyce. Swung on, line down the right field line, softly base hit. Broderick around third after DeBrule scores, and the rookie walks him off. Caulfield comes through.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Crank it, Jerry.
Welcome to Into the Wild, the official podcast of the Washington Wild Pigs.
What do you hear? What do you say?
It's the best sports podcast in the world. Wait, is that true?
If you're committed enough, you can make any story. I once convinced a woman that I was Kevin Costner, and it worked because I believed it.
Now, here's your host, Kyle Dawson.
Did you get the popcorn?
The 22nd season of Wild Things Baseball in the MLB Partnered Frontier League, the largest and longest running independent baseball league in the country, is just around the corner. The 2024 promotional schedule has been announced. The dates are flying by, things are getting crazy, or some would say they're getting wild. Dramatic effect pause. This is Into the Wild, the official podcast of the Washington Wild Things, and we've reached episode 4 of the pod. I'm Vice President of Baseball Operations and play-by-play voice of the Wild Things, Kyle Dawson, back with you to have some more fun. So a hearty good morning, good afternoon, good evening to our friends, and welcome back, or welcome for the first time if you missed our first 3 episodes. If you did, you can always go back and watch or listen to those cataloged and archived on whatever podcast platform you're tuned into us on. We're available on most major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon Music, and available with video on our YouTube page. Appreciate you tuning in. Later in this episode, Tony and Stephanie will rejoin the pod to talk about the promo schedule, what's exciting about that, which is available at WashingtonWildThings.com. Plus, we'll have some more fun with some of the questions like we did last time they were on. But first, we are joined by Frontier League all-time saves king and former Washington Wild Thing, Zach Strecker. Streck is he should be a shoe-in Frontier League Hall of Famer and a Kentucky native, a walk-on at Kentucky with the Wildcats, where he pitched for 4 seasons before signing as an international free agent. A undrafted free agent, not international about it, but an undrafted free agent with the Minnesota Twins organization in 2016. Following his release from the Twins in early 2017, he made his way to Washington, where he quickly became a fan favorite, a big personality in a Wild Things uniform and off the field as well. If you are a Wild Things fan and have been following the team for a number of years now, you certainly probably remember anything but baseball with Zach Strecker and Uncle Z's pen pals from pregame shows on broadcast for multiple seasons. You remember the personality, the charisma, but you also likely remember the dominance on the mound and on the field for Zach Strecker. Streck set a Wild Things single-season ERA record in 2019 that has since been beat by current Wild Thing Kobe Foster, but a record in 2019 and a good season for Streck following 2017 and 2018 playoff appearances, where he was a big cog in that bullpen for the Wild Things in those 2 seasons. Played here in 2020, finished up his Frontier League and Wild Things career in 2021 by becoming the new Wild Things saves king, as well as the Frontier League saves king. With his 71st save in late August of his career, he set up the new record there and finished his playing career with 74 saves in a Frontier League uniform, and a Wild Things uniform beat Eric Massingham's former record of 70 career saves and during his time in the Frontier League. So also leads the Wild Things in career appearances on the mound with 190. That is likely a number that will never be touched in Wild Things history. And unlike during his playing days, our chat with Zach does include some baseball talk as we welcome him back to Washington on today's episode of Into the Wild. So without further ado, the Frontier League saves king, Zach Strecker, on Into the Wild. Back on Into the Wild with Zach Strecker. He's a certified thing. Streck, number 29. He has not been with the organization since 2021, but here for several years, and now he's off in the real world. He says he's changed, but I'm told he hasn't. Nick Ward says that he has not changed.
I've changed. I am no more fun.
People who would have been around for the Zach Strecker and a Wild Things uniform days know the shotgunning the beer story at the season ticket holder picnic. They know about anything but baseball with Zach Strecker. They know the personality. So you're telling me that this is no longer Zach Strecker?
I feel like I'm corporate Zach Strecker now. It's boring, you know? And this is like the longest my beard's been, and I get yelled at work, and I'm like, sorry about it,
It's just the Streck way.
Yeah, I might have to shave it here soon, which is I never got told to shave my beard at the Wild Things.
No, we wouldn't do that. We're not like the New York Yankees. We wouldn't do that to you.
We're better than the Yankees.
That's what
Frank said. Frank said so back in 2018. He was like, we could beat the Yankees.
Yeah. So what are you up to now for the fans that may not be well aware of what Streck is up to these days?
So post baseball retirement involves a bunch of so I still do the gambling, but instead I'm now an auditor at a gaming facility in Kentucky at Derby City Gaming, and it's a lot of fun. I get to see how much money people win, and it's demoralizing because I'm like, I get to see, oh, that's a nice $100,000 jackpot you won there. It should have been me.
See, that's the exact response that I would think that you're going to do when you see that. It should have been me. Why am I not the one that won it?
I actually have a sticky note on my computer that's like my to-do list every day. And the last thing on my to-do list is always make winning parlays.
So, does that happen very often?
No. That's why I have to underline it and remind myself hey dude, make a winning one. You made one, make a winning one.
I think that's a good reminder.
This is the life post baseball. Actually, I play men's league now.
Okay. How many saves?
I actually start.
Okay. So your last regular season appearance here.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Except not 2 innings. It's, I'll go out there, I'll pop 6 Advil before start, and 7-inning game, it'll be, I think there was a game I threw 65 pitches in 7 innings and 60 of them were strikes.
That's pretty good.
And the 7-inning game lasted an hour and 15. We won 1-0.
Are you still breaking bats?
No, because I throw about 70 poo.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I don't know how I'm going to throw a baseball this summer. My shoulder feels awful. This is 30.
Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm 29 in 2 months. So
it only goes downhill, Dawson. You feel like your joints are going to explode every morning.
Yeah, that's about the last thing that I need. To be honest. Let me dive back, and those who have heard interviews with me and Streck before or witnessed us, no, we don't do this very often between the two of us, but I do want to get a little bit serious if I can for a portion of this. Serious, okay, but serious as compared to what we normally do is maybe a half serious. But I do want to talk about your career here, and I want to talk about before here. You obviously grew up being a big Kentucky fan, got to play there. What was I figured he would have something Kentucky on if you're watching on video.
Go Cats.
That's what I'm saying. So just kind of take people through the journey of your youth and upbringing in baseball and kind of what made you fall in love with the game, and eventually you obviously played at Kentucky.
So I'd have to say, baseball was kind of ingrained in our family. My dad grew up in St. Louis. Anybody that grows up in St. Louis is a diehard Cardinals fan. So, when I was young, I grew up watching baseball every day. My brother played baseball, and, it was kind of a way for me and him to bond as well. And so I think, early age, baseball was always, the one thing that I truly loved to do. Like baseball was always something that it was there for you. And, it's one of those love-hate relationships because, baseball's, you got your ups and downs throughout life. I think the age of 12, I almost quit baseball altogether. I had heart-to-heart with Mama Streck.
Very popular figure around here, Mama Streck.
Love my mama. And we had a heart-to-heart at the age of 12, took some laps around the neighborhood. And she was one of those where it was she was okay with me giving it up if it was something that I truly cared about, but it was something also where she was like, had to remind me that nothing in life is easy, worthwhile. So she was also like, hey, you have to work at it at the same time. And I think once I saw the fruits of my labor with because it was one of those where I worked with my brother all the time. And then all of a sudden it just kind of clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that click happened, it was just kind of like, oh my gosh, like the love of baseball came back. And like, thank God I didn't quit at the age of 12.
Right.
That would have been awful. But college, I didn't get recruited out of high school at all. I actually got told by my high school coach that I wasn't good enough to play college baseball. He asked me where I wanted to go, and I said UK or Western, and he laughed at my face. So I was like, "Oh, that's neat." Real heartwarming and motivational from your head coach when he just laughs at you. But I didn't let that bother me. I was just like, if I'm good enough, I'll go play. And so I got encouraged by a summer ball coach actually to try out at UK. This dude, Jim Wiley. Dude was, honestly, he might be dead now. I don't know. He was older than dirt when I played for him back in 2011. I think he was about 80 then. So I don't think Haas is dead yet. I think I think death is afraid of him. He was bad, dude. He used to be a scout for the Yankees.
Okay.
And he was just like, Zach, you need to try out for UK. You make it. You make the team. And you did. So I did. I literally, and the thing is, I almost chickened out and didn't go try out because walk-on tryouts, it's kind of intimidating, especially in SEC school. And I remember calling my mom that morning being like, I don't feel good. I don't want to go. Like, I'm just going to make a fool of myself. And I actually was going to try out as a hitter as well. I did not try out as a hitter. I left the bat in the dorm room, but I did throw a bullpen. I think I topped out at 83. Solid.
That's about where I remember. A little bit harder.
I was just like, the fact that they took this 17-year-old kid that topped out at 83. I think I weighed like $180 soaking wet. I got lucky. I really did. I got lucky that Coach Henderson saw something in me, and the rest is history. Like I truly believe like he made me understand pitching. Before it was like, you just go out there and throw and just hit a location sort of thing. It's like he made me understand pitching.
Yeah, and you had a ton of success there too. That ultimately led to a undrafted free agent signing with the Twins organization. I know that's not something you and I talked about very often, and probably for decent reason. But there was a ton of success there at Kentucky as a result of that tryout and making the team.
Mm-hmm. And it's like it was very encouraging when I was there because it's one of those where you're a walk-on. I remember, my freshman year, he was like, there was like these questionnaires we answered before every season, and he was like, what kind of role do you expect to see? And I was just like, mop up, that's kind of where my mentality was. I was like, if we're up big, down big, like that's kind of what I thought. And I was a little bit wrong. Freshman year, maybe a little bit of that, but throughout my career, it changed big time. So it was great to see that encouragement.
For sure. Let's briefly touch on the Twins, and then we'll get to obviously where you made your bread and butter here in pro ball in Washington. The Twins had one season in there. It was 17 games, and we're just looking at Baseball Reference. But I know you and I have had conversations, and I know Tony and you have had conversations, other people in this organization, that maybe just wasn't an affiliated ball isn't cracked up for everybody.
Right.
I think they're trying to make people a certain way, and maybe that's not the Zach Strecker way, or that's not, other players or whatever. But what do you remember about that season with the Twins?
So I would probably have to say, my experience with the Twins, it was very low at the beginning because I went in injured, and I lied about it, because it's like you get a chance to play pro ball, and it's just like you go in injured and you're like, hey, I'm hurt, by the way. It's just like you might as well just pack your bags, go home, sort of thing. And so I remember that first, I'd say like 3 weeks, maybe a month of, with the Twins, I don't think I knew where the ball was going, and it wouldn't hurt you if it hit you in the face. And all of a sudden, like, my arm felt better, and I was me. But that didn't really matter. It's, I would say the politics of affiliated baseball is, it's not, do you get guys out as a pitcher, which that's your first job, is get guys out. I don't care how you get a guy out. You get a guy out is what your job is. Their mindset's how hard you throw the ball. And that was just, you know me, I don't throw hard, but I could spot up and make it move. But that wasn't what they were looking for. And it's that kind of stunk, if that made sense.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, the level I was at, I played rookie ball, and it's like the level I was at, they loved me there, but it was just like, then the next level, they were just like, oh, this ain't going to cut it, sort of thing. Sure. So it was kind of a quick writing on the wall, because it was real weird, because the day before I got released in spring training, I threw a 7-pitch and a 6-pitch inning against the Rays. So I was just like, cool. Classic.
Right.
It was just other thing about it is I felt it was very cliquish, because I would say that with affiliated ball, obviously the guy next to you, that's your competition. And it's like your chance of getting called up depends on how well you're doing versus the guy next to you. And that's kind of how it felt like, where you wanted to win the game, but at the same time, we're sitting in the bullpen, and we're, 4 of us are finding ourselves being like, dude, I hope this guy sucks. And it's like, it's a terrible feeling, because you're
that or the game gets to where you're going to go in the game and have your role.
Yeah. And it's just like, it sucked because it's like that you hated that, because it's like, I had friends with the Twins, like I truly did, but it's like, at the same time, those guys are your competition, and it didn't sit right. And obviously in Washington, everyone, your success gets you looked at, and so it's like the team succeeds, you succeed, and that's what gets you looked at to go back into the affiliated. And that's kind of where everyone comes together. And I was like, I think that's why we were so strong, because it's like everyone wanted to be good, and, possibly, other guys had their aspirations of going back to affiliated. I sure didn't, but
right.
There were others that did. And it's just like, hey, you go ball out, and that's what we want you to do. Instead of like, I hope you suck, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel you. Talk about the story as I remember it. I think it was the day after, or maybe the day of that your release happened. Tony called you, and
dude, it was like an hour after I got released. It was like an hour after I got released. I'm in my hotel room, like basically like I had just gotten off the phone with Mama Streck, crying. I'm like, I'm coming home tonight. I'm, boo-hooing and super sad, and then I get a phone call from Pennsylvania. How you doing? Don't be silly. Washington Wild Things. I'm like, hey, how you doing?
What was that process like with I don't know if it was first call, it was you're coming to Washington that year, or how that process went for 2017?
So 2017, I just remember being like, I got released and I was just like, I'm probably not going to play baseball again. That was that.
Yeah.
And then Tony called, and, it left a lot to think about. And, I had already trained for an off season. I was already ready to play baseball. So, like, might as well, right? And that's kind of where my mindset was to, the Wild Things were the first team to call. I think Travers ended up texting me, I think like a month later, after I'd already signed with us, It's not with y'all, it's us. We're us.
Yes.
But no, I mean, I only intended to play one more year, that 17 season. You know how that went.
And then there you go.
It's the classic Michael Austin post every single season where he's like, guys, this is my last year, circa September 2018. And then it's April 2019. I'm out there doing armbands.
Yeah. Let's dig into the time in Washington a little bit. So that first year, obviously you came in and you were pretty much the closer immediately with Banger. And that year obviously went well for both you and the team. It didn't end so well. I'm not going to bring it up unless you want to bring it up. But no, we don't need to talk about that thing that was on your phone background for a year or two.
That was the reason why. Honestly, that's the reason why 2018 happened.
Yeah.
So blessed.
So Taylor Oldham did actually end up paying off for us in the long run.
Yeah, you got 4 more years of me.
Yeah, exactly. That 2017 team was an interesting group, to say the least. Trevor Foss in there. Chase Cunningham would have been here by then, and Kane Sweeney was your roommate, and he obviously had a fan. Maybe that was 2018. Either way,
no,
I mixed
Sweeney
all
was
the
17.
years up. That was a really fun group to be a part of.
Yeah, it was. 17 was a great group of guys. Me and Roa, that was Roa's first year as well. So me and Roa, we were there for Roa. He lasted 1 more year than me in Washington, right? One more year?
You got it.
2, whatever. Potato. But that was Roa's first year. He was lifelong thing. And then just, I'm trying to, there's so many guys, so many teams.
Yes.
Braylon was on that team.
Yes.
Braylon came back in 21. James came late in 17. Yeah, we had a bunch of dudes that year. Bunch of dudes. It was kind of upsetting that we didn't do more with it.
Well, I think
because somebody stunk.
I wouldn't put that all on you, but yeah, and I think that translated to 2018 too. That was Michael's first year. He had come in that year. Obviously, that team went to the championship series and came, one play or another away from winning a ring, especially having from down 2-1.
What was that one play?
Well, I would bring up the line drive to Harrison center field that he dove for, the ball that he uncorked the ball to left field. It's a foot or two away from being out of the outstretched hand of the left fielder, and it's a 3-run double or whatever it would have been at that point.
So like I think of that, I think of the bunt back to the pitcher. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm just like first and second, we bunt back to the pitcher.
Yeah. It happened.
Woof. I think everyone still talks about that.
But that group was different and unique in the sense that there were a lot of quiet dudes that were really good. Like a Roman Collins is super quiet guy, but
yeah,
went and balled out. Other guys, Brett Maher.
Brett Maher. Me and Brett still play video games. Like,
okay,
once a week.
That's good.
It's like I went to his wedding last year.
There you go.
Former things stay together. So yeah, a lot of quiet guys on that team, but there was a lot of characters on that team.
This is also true.
Because 2018, I think, was the year of like debauchery. We were a bunch of degenerates on 2018.
But it didn't matter because the team was still ridiculously successful. It's like
I think Banger wanted us to go out.
Yeah.
I truly did. I think Banger was like, "You guys go to Jimmy D's."
Well, that was the first year I traveled, and even then we were out everywhere. That after games, whenever.
He truly did not care what we did as long as we did our job, which was play and win baseball games.
Right.
And that is exactly what we did. We showed up to the field, a little sluggish, but we were there to kick your ass.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I think your best year, just in terms of individual, and that doesn't reflect in the save number, but that next year in 2019, despite the record for the team, 1.29 ERA. That's at least it was until Hennon came along in 21. Single season ERA record. I mean, that year was still really good for you, even around kind of what was happening on the field.
Mm-hmm. It 19 it was I weird season. I like to talk about 19 as like, did we stink? Yeah. Was that unfortunate? Yeah. But it was still baseball.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what what I used to talk myself into getting to play another year. I was just like, because mom's like, hey, go get a real job, you bum.
Well, it wouldn't have made a difference with COVID, but
yeah. But she was like, how about you get a real job? And and I'm just like, one more year. I was just like, I'm so close to the record, like, well, 19.
Right, because I was going to say, and then COVID happens, and you almost can't not come back after that. Right. Though I do want to touch on that year, but that 21 year, I mean, you're whatever number it was away from the Frontier League record 11. And the team record, and he ended up breaking that record in 21. But we'll get to that in a second. That I talked with Nick on the podcast the last episode, and we talked a little bit about the 2020 year and kind of how unique of a situation that was. Obviously, we didn't play much. Everyone was kind of in the dark. But even that group between the Wild Things team and the Slammin' Sammy's team, if you will, that was a really special, unique. See, he's got the Slammin' Sammy's hat too. This
is actually my men's league hat, just so I can tell him to, flex nuts.
But that was a unique group too in 20.
Yes, I actually really enjoyed our pod season. It was an interesting year. The competition kind of stunk a little bit.
It happens.
You go out there, and I felt like I was going through the motions. But at the end of the day, it was baseball again.
Right.
Like, it was still fun to go out there. I mean, we played 4 days a week, and I think at the end of it, we still had, I felt like we had 2 teams at the end of it, because it's like we got to know the Slammin' Sammy's guys as well, because a lot of those guys either became things or were already things,
Yes.
So that was a very, very interesting year. A lot of golf was played. A lot of dinner at Doug's, because Doug wanted to give us all free meals, which was, Doug. If Doug's listening, shout out to you, Doug.
He's great. We love Doug.
It's like we were not going to turn him down. Well, he actually wasn't going to let us turn him down. Let's rephrase that.
So that was the last year. I want to ask you before 21. That would have been the last summer of Greg Langben and Banger, because I don't want to call him Greg.
Don't call Coach. You can call him Coach.
Don't call
Greg.
him Coach either. Or Coach.
No, I can call him Coach. He's forever Coach Greg.
Yes. Talk about him and what he meant to your career, if you can be a little sentimental.
Banger was the man. Banger was by far my favorite person I ever played baseball for. He just had a way of, making you relax and feel like you were there for a reason. Like you could do your job. Like he always had the utmost confidence in you. And, he never strayed from that confidence. And it was always like, if you had a bad day, he was just like, I remember I gave up, I think 6 runs in an inning. I think it was against Schaumburg at home.
You might have uncorked a ball to the backstop too.
I might have. I don't remember. I truly don't remember. This is back in 2017. This is when I shaved my head.
Yep.
And he just comes out to the mound. He just goes, wasn't your day. Get him next time. I was like, we had a 2-run lead and now we're down 4 in the 9th. And he's just like, wasn't your day, dude.
It happens.
Yeah, he's just like, he goes, yeah, because it was one of those where it's just like, I felt like I was throwing good pitches. They just hit them, sort of thing. And that's just the awful beauty of baseball. You could, beat your guy, but he still get a hit or get on base, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Or you might just throw one right down the middle and get away with it. That's the other beauty of baseball.
Right.
But Banger, he always knew what to say and when to say it. Every single player I think would run through a brick wall for him. I remember the dice game. He introduced the dice game where he took all of our money in the locker room. Like he was like, "Yeah, I'll take your all's money. Let's play this dice game." He actually reached out to me not too long ago that Nate signed with Wichita State.
Yeah, he's going to go play D1 baseball.
The head coach at Wichita State was our hitting coach at UK.
Okay.
So I was like, Coach Green, BG's the man. BG's the man. Jungie played for him. Tristan Peterson.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if he knew Jungie.
Oh,
Jungus.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, he played for BG. So
okay.
He understands how awesome he is. But obviously Nate's kind of a stud now. I don't know if you knew that.
How about that?
Dude, kid's huge. Now I'm thinking of him like
very
back in
2019. Around. Yeah, he was always.
I'm thinking of him back in like 2019 when he was like 12 or 13 years old, and now I'm like, dude's tall. He's as tall as us,
It's wild.
Makes you feel old a little bit, doesn't it?
Exactly. I see kids like graduating high school now that I was a camp counselor for at the YMCA, or like kids that I saw down here, like that I've seen doing high school stuff, or they're gone and in college now. I'm like, what the hell, man? Like I feel old now.
Right.
Nate is one that makes me feel old. The 21 season, unique again, another championship series. That was the next year. But 21, actually, yeah, that was the championship. So you think I'd get things right in my own head.
Mm-hmm.
18 but you set the
18
record,
and 21.
Yeah, you set the record that year for us as a franchise, and then the Frontier League record for saves. Talk about that night. I know I seem to remember correctly. If I'm not right, correct me. But Papa Streck was there, and I don't think you knew he was there.
I knew he was there before the game.
Okay,
I didn't know he was coming.
Got it.
So like, he's standing out on the party deck, and I'm coming out of the locker room, and he's just like, "Streck, you have to come see." I was like, "What?" I come out there, and there's Pop, and I'm just like, "What in the world?" This is like
it's a Tuesday night.
Yeah, it was. It was a Tuesday night, and it was because the series before that, or the road trip before that, I think I picked up like 4 saves in a week. And it was like, all of a sudden, it was like, oh, the very next one is the breaker, like it kind of like sped up on us. Like I truly do think I got like 3 or 4 saves in the week before.
I could go back and look, but I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
2 in Erie that weekend.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, we're back at home, and it could happen, and it legit did that very first night.
Mm.
And I still remember the pitch I threw. I still remember who it was against, and
double play ball, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, first and second, 1 out, comebacker right back to me. Dennis Phipps.
Yep.
Dude loved the ball out and over the plate. And he stood off the plate. And it's just like, you get those big guys, they want their arms extended. They don't want the ball in.
Mm-hmm.
You get them here and they can't hit the ball. And so I was like, let's throw a little sinker inside. And I think I snapped his bat and we got a double play ball. So
then you got the big hug from Papa Streck and teammates going crazy. And
I did. It was a fun experience. Something that I would not have thought of in a million years.
Pretty sure you met me halfway up the bleachers too that night.
Yeah, it was a celebration to say the least.
Indeed. So let's quit being serious now for a second, because despite the fact that you think you've changed, you haven't. Your cat is no longer in the screen.
No, she ran away
earlier, but let's go into an episode for a couple minutes here of anything but baseball with Zach.
Okay, there we go.
What's on your mind? As I always set it up.
Oh, so it's funny. This is going full circle here. Do you remember what we used to talk about with our anything but baseball back in 2018?
There's so many different.
What was our most, besides fun with socks?
Socks are good.
Which I wish I could. I
Do
don't
you
know
have
how to
some
flip
socks? Oh, there we go. Now
we got bananas on. No, I think our most talked about thing in 2018 was Grey's Anatomy.
Yes. Probably.
I stopped watching. Me and my girlfriend are watching.
Season and a half.
Me and my girlfriend are watching now.
Okay.
We're in like season 8 right now. I forget what just happened, what the crazy thing that just happened, but there's always something happening in that show.
Oh, yeah.
The airplane crash hasn't happened, so
okay.
Not there yet. People aren't dying. Well, people are dying, but
not as often as they. We haven't got to Derek yet. That's a tough one. That's Michael's.
That's the pre Michael start. He'll send me some. Anytime I see something that I'm like, oh, me and Michael used to quote that, I'll send it to him immediately.
I think every once in a while I still send like the voicemail recording of Derek's on the ferry to you and Michael, and I always get like a middle finger back from Michael or something. He gets all mad.
It's like you just triggered us into being in our feels.
It has to be done sometimes, though.
Yeah, it does. So that's the life here. It's a bunch of Grey's Anatomy. I think we're in season 8. I don't know how many seasons there are, like 20.
There's a lot of them.
Like we aren't even scratching the surface.
I want to say, I want to ask too about the nephews. How are they?
Oh, Nolan's birthday was yesterday.
Okay.
He turned 8.
There you go.
And I'm just like, dude is 8 years old.
Where did the time go?
Right? And it's just like he's 8, of course. Like he's got baseball tryouts. I think this weekend. He needs to work with Uncle Z.
Yes. Everyone should work with Uncle Z.
But no, they're awesome. That Nolan, obviously, he's still the same goofball he is. Whenever like in my men's league games, he's always like, "Where are the fireworks? You used to have fireworks at your games." And I'm like,
Not
"Well,
anymore.
buddy, the Wild Things did it a little bit better,
That's good.
Yeah, he's just like, I remember being able to run the bases and there used to be fireworks.
Doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So he's good. Lucas he's the godson. He's my godson.
Mhm.
He just turned 4 back in November. Crazy. Love him. That's all you need to know. He's hot and cold. He's a 4-year-old.
Yes. About all you expect.
Exactly. And then the youngest was actually born September of my last year in Washington. Jack. So Jack turned 2 back in September, and I think he might be the most headstrong of them all.
There you go.
Of course, they get more progressively difficult, I guess. And it's like after watching my brother, I'm over here like, I think I might be only stuck at 2 kids in the future. I don't know. I was like, maybe I'll just stick with the cat.
The cat's good though. Apparently, you're allergic to cats, but we talked about it before we started recording. You and the cat are best friends.
I was like, this cat, it's my homie. And I never thought in my life that I would love a cat ever. And I love this cat. Now, it ain't my dog. I love my dog more. But this cat, Keter cat, she's up there. She's just so chill. And I'm just like, until she decides to, claw the absolute crap out of me,
Yeah.
But, comes with the territory, I guess. I don't know. But
Are you still a routine Skyline chili guy?
I almost had it today for lunch, but I didn't. That's funny you mentioned that. But no, yeah, of course I get Skyline. Of course I do. And I always send it to some of the guys, I think I made Murph try it for the first time when we were in Florence, and McNorton tried it with me back in 21. So they both lost their Skyline virginity that day.
Yes.
I think Murph might have died for his life after that. I don't know. No. It's funny because I remember when Mama Streck and Papa Fred used to bring the Coney dogs to the bullpen in Florence, because I was just like, Coach Greg don't care. I was like, throw those hot dogs over. I'm like, we need it. So like they'd buy like 12 Conies for the bullpen, and we just pass them out.
I have no idea if I even knew that happened. I don't
You
think
didn't know
I
that?
even knew about that.
I think they probably did it about three or four times.
Okay.
They would bring Skyline Coney dogs, and we'd eat them in the bullpen.
I see.
Ask Frank. Frank. Of course, Frank would have a Coney dog, because I think Frank actually liked it. Some people were like, "That's gross,
Frank.
brother."
I would expect nothing different from Frank Tremarco. Frank Tang.
No, that dude. I miss that guy. I think that's. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. I'm like, I love every second I had in Washington. The worst part about it now is I have all these friends that live so freaking far away.
For sure.
And
You were
it's just
back up
like,
in Pittsburgh though, maybe a month or two ago. Penguin.
I
game,
try
right?
to make a yearly trip for a Pens game, and went up there back early January, before Meek left for spring training. So had to go see Meek. Convinced BJ to fly in as well. So BJ came in from Milwaukee.
There you
And
go.
just we had
Big
ourselves
reunion.
a time. It was us three. Then Mick Fennell was there, Joe Campagna, Sean Keeley. We had a squad there. We had Lap.
Party. That sounds like a party.
Yeah, we had ourselves a group. And it's funny because on the way home from the game, we decided only to take, Keeley said he had his car, and I forget who else might have had their car. I don't know. But long story short, me and Joe ended up riding in the bed of Keeley's truck because we didn't have enough seats. So on the way back to Rivers, me and Joe are in the back of this truck. It just snowed the night before, and it's cold as all get out, but it was worth it. It was fun. It's good seeing all the guys.
Anything else that's on your mind before I do my last thing with you?
What else is on my mind? Nothing. Watching anime.
Huh?
You know me.
There you go.
Anime, gambling,
Yep.
video games. Life's good. Baseball.
And yelling at the Florence Stadium every time you drive past.
Oh, absolutely. I will have to say I didn't do it my last trip.
Oof.
So I actually drove by it
I'm offended.
last week. It was last week.
Every time I get a Snapchat, I know exactly what it's going to be when it's from you.
I drove by it literally last Monday, a week ago from today. It was my dad's 70th. And he had never been to Hofbrauhaus.
Okay.
So I was like, let's go drive to Newport. Like, he loves German food. I like German food. And I was like, for your 70th, we're going to get you some German food because you haven't had it in forever. So
there you go.
We drove an hour and 20 minutes to go get lunch.
There you go.
And I wasn't about to, film myself yelling expletives at a stadium in front of my dad, but
that's fair.
Apologies, I missed out.
That's fair.
I definitely thought of it. Don't worry.
No, I would be upset if you didn't.
In my brain, I'm giving them the double bird as I'm driving by. Yeah.
Let me. The last thing I have, and we did this with Nick, and I'm sure you'll be back at some point. Whether that is hopefully for a jersey retirement at some point, like I've been campaigning for, or potentially for the Frontier League Hall of Fame. I mean,
hey, this was a Wild Things jersey.
It was, yeah. Kind of just, I'll give you the platform. Anything you want to say to the fans of Washington or the organization, and it's the people here, based on your time here or whatever.
I think everyone should know by now how I feel about this organization, how I felt about my time being there. Obviously, it hurt something awful to end my career. It was the word. I didn't want to do it. Obviously, I pushed it off 4 times, And I think it's just how Washington, it just, I couldn't get away from it. I truly couldn't. And it's just like, I love the atmosphere that the fans bring, the people, the baseball, anything that we wanted as players, like people didn't hesitate to help out with, I remember making the push with Tony about, getting us out of the hotel and getting us actual apartments. And it's just like those little things. Who does that? He's just like, you're right. Let's do a little experiment. And, next thing you know, we have real nice apartments instead of staying at the Red Roof. And it's just like those little things go. They might not be, honestly, they probably aren't little things. Those are big things.
Yeah. And
it's just like the fans, I know I didn't make any games last season because life's busy, but I definitely need to make a game this year, come back up there this summer. But I feel like I come back and it's just like I immediately see familiar faces every single time. And it's just like, it's just so great to be able to be welcomed back every time. And from the bottom of my heart, those were the best 5 years of baseball ever. And I wish I could relive them, but those are the memories that I'll hold and cherish for a lifetime.
70 Poo won't quite cut it now, huh?
70 Poo will not cut it. The Splitty will. The Splitty still works. But the 70, Dawson, the shoulder is just not there. As much as I thought my elbow was going to give out first, it's the shoulder.
I believe it. All right. Well, appreciate you jumping on here. I know that it was quite the battle. People don't need to know. But don't change too much.
I'll try not to. I'll try to stay, young at heart.
We will be back with more here on Into the Wild.
Last but not least, throw things.
The Wild Things are looking for host families for the 2024 season. Host families welcome a player or players into their home for the season while the player chases their dreams. Hosting a player can provide a great experience for the empty nester or the growing family by putting a role model and professional baseball player in a home with children. Host families enjoy numerous benefits, including free tickets to games, an end-of-season on-field ceremony with gifts, and the opportunity to take part in a meet-the-team picnic before the season begins. For more information, visit WashingtonWildThings.com or call Vice President of Baseball Operations Kyle Dawson at 724-250-7654 to learn more about our host family program today. Wild Things Park and Wild Things Games are the perfect places to host your company outing, party, family get-together, birthday party, and more. Check out the Goosebumps Smart Tech and Solar Solutions Suite Level, the EQT Pavilion, and the Pepsi Party Deck, and hit a home run for your outing or party. Bring between 10 and 80 people to one of our luxury suites, 30 to 80 people on the party deck, or 20 to 300 people in the pavilion. Food and beverage options, including buffet-style packages, are available. Call our front office for more information at 866-456-WILD. That's 866-456-WILD. Are you planning a group outing with your friends, coworkers, or family members? A Wild Things game is an affordable and entertaining way to knock your next outing out of the park. Group rates for 10 or more tickets start at just $10 per ticket, with group accommodations of 10 to 3,200 people. Call our front office for more information at 866-456-WILD or go to WashingtonWildThings.com for more information. Become a bigger member of the Wild Things by joining our season ticket member family. With plans starting at $150, you can take your fandom to the next level. 13-game, 25-game, and full season plans are available, giving you the right to pick your games, reserve your seats, and be here for the biggest nights of the 2024 season. Call our front office at 866-456-WILD or head to WashingtonWildThings.com for more information.
Back on Into the Wild, another thanks to Zach Strecker, the Frontier League Saves King, joining us here on episode 4. Joined at this time, Kyle Dawson, by Stephanie Keller and Tony Busili back for a little bit of promo talk here. The promotion schedule came out a week ago today. If you're listening to this on release date March 25. It has been a whirlwind of a week in the organization in terms of that getting announced. And guys, obviously, that's been something, and Tony especially can attest to this. It's been something that's been in the works for several months now, both from a sales standpoint and from a preparation standpoint. And that's not any different than any other year.
Certainly something I think we kind of start talking about it and thinking about it in September or even the year prior of like, hey, wouldn't it be really cool to do this? Or, hey, this giveaway, let's try to branch off of one we had a lot of success with and do something similar the next year. So definitely multiple months. People always, I think we all get asked, hey, what do you guys do in the off season? It's like, that is it. We plan, we develop, we come up with all the ideas. We look at the schedule, what does work, doesn't work, and who can we get involved to do some fun stuff. And I guess we've had a lot of things that work really well, so we don't have to tweak too much, but staying ahead of the times and being out of the box is something to do.
Certainly. Some of the biggest ones that are on the schedule, I know Tony obviously he's probably got a bunch that are circled just on his end. May is obviously highlighted by opening night on May 10th. Fireworks Friday, obviously fireworks return, as Tony mentioned on the last podcast episode. Fireworks happen every Friday still. Kids eat free Sundays. What's that? I don't like fireworks, you're right. But it's, the people like things that go boom, and I'm a man of the people. So if the people want the fireworks, then Stephanie can watch them on the field. I don't really care. But yeah, so fireworks back every Friday. Obviously there's various sponsors that are included in that. Souvenir Saturdays, not all of the giveaways are announced at this point. But there will be some more that will be announced over the next couple of weeks and into the season. Kids Eat Free Sundays, Coors Light Brew Cruise back on Thursdays. Obviously, I think that promotion list is highlighted by, I know Stephanie's all excited about Era's Night. Taylor Swift, obviously, is the sensation that T-Swizzle is. But it's also the 22nd year of the Wild Things in the Frontier League. So Stephanie's whole thing is we're feeling 22 this year.
Yeah, we're in our Taylor Swift era. That's what I keep telling everybody at every Wild Thing appearance. Wild Things in his Taylor Swift era.
So Era's Night is happening this year on one of the Thursdays, Coors Light Brew Crew. Obviously, all these programs that are available, you can sign up for on our website at WashingtonWildThings.com. Don't try to sign up for the Brew Crew if you were born in 1960. You're not between 21 and 30. The Senior Slugger program, 50 plus. And then the Kids Eat Free program, as mentioned last episode. If you're got kids or no kids that are 12 and under, and parents, make sure they register their kids for that. Era's Night, by the way, July 11th. The full promotional schedule is available on our website as well in a couple different locations. So I guess the next thing to ask, and I know what Stephanie's answer is going to be already, but the most exciting promotion, or the one that you're looking forward to the most?
I'm making Stephanie go first, and since her.
I'm going to say Mascotapalooza. That's Wild Thing's birthday. All of his buddies come out. It's a Kids Eat Free Sunday, so it's an early game. It's always nice with all the kids, and it's one of the most interactive games and also one of the most chaotic games because Wild Thing races all of the mascots that come too, and that's always a show and a spectacle.
It is. I'll go one new one and I'll return of one. The return, I mean, I liked when we did it. We did it probably 4 or 5 years in a row. Blackout breast cancer. That was something that I thought people were really into when we did it for a stint. I got kind of frustrated or bored of jersey designs, so we kind of branched in another direction. But that Blackout Breast Cancer Night is coming back. We're going to do the blackout jerseys again, not full out black pants like we did back in the day, but we have jerseys ordered and they'll be here of something special. New one that I think is kind of cool, and I think it fits the region focus, is the Roberto Clemente Night. We were contacted by Roberto's Foundation about hosting the event, doing a camp that night for youth athletes, and we're working on a really special Roberto Clemente bobblehead design. I'm gonna say, I think we're gonna do it, Kyle. So I'll break the news or have people kind of keep tabs on it. We'll try to tease it on 412 night or 412 day. I think it'll be a cool thing. Hopefully, I have a good mock-up mold that we can take a picture of and tease it out there for everybody. Celebrating Roberto here locally, everything he does, and the lore around him. I think it's going to be a memorable piece that 1,000 bobbleheads will not be enough, but we'll hopefully have a nice line going out there nice and early.
Grand Slam School Day will be packed. 2 day games on the promotion schedule, May 21, and then Super Splash Day, of course, returns in July. That would be July 23rd. Again, all of the promotions are on our website if you want to check them out. I think I'm most looking forward to some of the kids' themes. Star Wars Night is always one of my favorites to be. I said it last episode too. We do it right on Star Wars Night. We've got the video that plays before for the crawl. Hopefully have some blue milk or something going on in the concession stands for a lot of these theme nights. So I'm excited for that one. I'm definitely excited for Halloween night, if nothing else, to potentially break out the Michael Myers suit again. That's always a hit. I think I signed autographs for like 10 minutes and I just wrote MM. Had no idea what Michael Myers' autograph would be. So I just kind of did it. But those two are, I think, probably the kids' ones I'm most excited for. Jimmy Buffett night's always a big one. I know Tony's excited for that one too. Island shirt giveaway that night. I know people have been clamoring for another Island shirt giveaway after we did the last one, and that should be a fun weekend in July, plus Salute to Service, the breast cancer jerseys, those 2 special jersey auction nights. And there's some inner workings behind the scenes here to have potentially a 3rd jersey auction that's going on. So plenty on the promotional schedule, and certainly plenty to be excited about if you're a Wild Things fan, or just an entertainment fan, if you will. That's looking to come out here and have a good time, and whether that is wrap yourselves around a theme or a giveaway, or the programs that we have going on. There's a bunch that's there. You guys aren't ready for the season. I can tell. I'm not.
I'm ready for
some a month and a half away.
I'm ready for some more rapid fire questions and some more just crazy answers. That's
more rapid fire questions. I don't even know if I have any in my notes.
That's great. We'll just have to save it, or have you do more research on some fun stuff.
What's your favorite Thursday promotion?
Oh, Kyle's is easily Christmas in 100%.
No, not a chance.
I have a hard time deciding, because I like summer St. Patty's because I feel like everybody kind of gets into it. But then I also like Kicking It Country just because street team line dances all night and it's great.
Those are probably the 2 most of that demo of the Brew Crew to like actually buy into the theme.
Mm-hmm.
St. Patty's, the amount of green we saw last time, and I don't know if we'll do. I don't know if I can talk Travis into doing green beer like we did years ago. But then the Kicking It Country, there was actually the boots, the hats showed up, and I'm like, okay, like usually that age bracket, they're not going to participate too much in the themes like the kids do Sundays or even the Jimmy Buffett crew, but anything green, anything, I guess, kind of with the cowboy boots works.
Yeah, and now we have Beyonce's country album to play, so everyone's gonna love that.
There you go. Christmas in July is listen. This is like fireworks. People like it, just not for me. I think having Christmas music on before the end of Thanksgiving is ridiculous. But I'm never going to win that battle. Clearly,
no.
The Christmas in July needs to be taken off the schedule.
I think we need to dress you up like an Elvis for Elvis night. That will be one that we can get you in like those sequin one jumper suit, give you a nice haircut.
I feel like that could be pretty bad.
Exactly. I thought you were going to say Sam.
I don't look like I don't look like Elvis.
We could make it work.
Maybe we'll dress you up like Elvis then.
Miniature Elvis, sure. Yeah.
I was going to say that, but I didn't want to be mean.
These are all new jokes I've never heard before. I can't believe anybody would ever take a shot at me for that. Dang.
What about what most giveaway are you excited for? There's another question.
Your answer is the fanny pack, so that's pretty easy. 100%. I don't even have that's not even.
That's yours.
The giveaway most excited for. Well, either that or you'd like the kids bank one.
Are you guessing mine?
Yeah, yes.
Oh.
Stephanie a huge fan of the activity book.
Yeah, I do like the activity book. that was going to be mine.
My giveaway. Oh, well, I mean, I think it's out of the box, so I kind of like that. Craig, our designer, did the barbecue mitt with Burks that actually looks like a baseball glove. Like, people don't know what to expect yet, but the level of detail on that glove is second to none, really, and it's certainly not any other type of barbecue grilling glove you're ever going to get anywhere else. So, Kyle,
I think it's the Clemente bobblehead for me, but that's just because I'm a sucker for a good bobblehead.
Say basic.
The Iowan, yeah, sure. I mean, I'm excited for the Iowan shirt. I know everyone was asking me last year because I had the old one on Jimmy Buffett night, and a bunch of people just said, "Hey, when are you doing that again?" So I'm excited for that one.
Fans are gonna love the hat. You talk about like the Salute to Service hat, and that was the last one we probably didn't talk about. That was some people are gonna go anytime you get a baseball hat for anybody. I think those won't last very long either.
All right, so let me shift gears for a minute or two since I just dug up a bunch of them from Alex Bouchier's from Bosch.0 episodes. If a vindictive slug followed you everywhere you went, and if it touched you, you die, how long do you survive?
Oh, I've heard about this one, but you're easily lasting multiple years or decades. Like all you have to do is the travel of a slug. You're gonna be safe. Back and forth to work. Like the slug is not going to get anywhere close to me, and I live 20 minutes away. So.
How long can you go?
How long do you without it touching?
How long would you survive if the vindictive slug, if it touches you, you die?
I mean, I think I'd last decades because I don't let any kind of bug or slug touch me.
I feel like Tony's reasoning is like mostly correct there because I mean, even if I fall asleep, the slug coming back from Washington to my house might be like way behind.
I'm still thinking of the conversation about the bears and the duck from last time. And anytime I've been watching TV and I see like a bear attack and like how dangerous they are, I just keep going back. It's like these two didn't agree with me. They'd rather take on the bear-sized duck. They'd rather take on all these mini bears, and you wouldn't stand a chance. It's bad reasoning, and you guys wouldn't last very long. But at least everybody agrees with the slug. So,
which do you dislike more? People who clap during a movie, or people who clap when a plane lands?
Movie for me, because plane, I get it sometimes. If it's a rough flight, I get it. But movie, no one's there to like. Why? No one's there.
So I'm gonna answer and then pile on. It's gonna be people clapping on an airplane because I'm already annoyed with people on airplanes, and then the people who get up from sections behind me to rush off the plane. Plane people, top 5 worst people of all time.
It's the plane for me. Like the movie, I can at least understand. That's like the end of whatever. They're just clapping because it was good or something. The plane is just
but you clap for people that are on performing a show, and they
sure. That's what I mean, though. That's me clapping for the end of a movie is like clapping at the end of a performance, like a talent show or whatever. I don't see any big difference in that. The plane is like irrational to me. People start clapping it when the plane lands. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, that's how you land a bird. Like we don't need to clap for it. Maybe.
Yeah, but I've seen the TikToks where the pilots say that they have the smoothest landing they've ever had, and they get no applause, and they're upset about
it. Now we're offending pilots.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll have one more.
I'll do a random one, Kyle.
Okay.
Stephanie might struggle with this, but you'll have a blast, I guess. Having a hard decision of which one you would choose. Pop wing sauce you would go to.
She doesn't like wings.
She can maybe handle it. She can probably find something, but I don't know, Kyle, where are you going with this?
Where am I going with it? Well, I don't know. That depends on where. I guess that really depends on where you can go. And like, am I picking a restaurant or am I picking a wing joint, or is it just a sauce?
You're going sauce.
Well, my favorite wing sauce in the world is sweet and hot at Dino's in Latrobe. But I mean, I guess kind of that ballpark, sweet and hot. A good buffalo sauce is always good. I had Buffalo's wings at the casino yesterday as we record this on Friday. They got 50-cent wings on Thursdays, which is nuts. So yeah, sweet and hot, I guess.
Move those hens. Stephanie struggled for baking a wing sauce here.
Well, I usually just get like the honey barbecue, but I like this what is it, sweet Asian chili sauce sometimes. That's not bad.
The good old Asian zing. But
it's not spicy. It's like more sweet. Or I don't mind garlic parm actually. I'm basic. I don't eat them.
Kind of like some garlic parm.
Garlic parm is good.
Yeah.
No, I think garlic and parm is better rather than like a wet garlic parm.
Wet wings all day.
Sure, in most cases.
Yes.
You get a good wing dust, it's fine to be dry.
Extra. You got to go spicy.
They might make your throat clam up like a hot dog.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, wing. So give me. We had numerous discussions about wings of how many wings you thought I could eat, and you thought Donnie football or he could eat more wings than me, and I said what? I said like almost 3 dozen is what I think I could eat, and you didn't like that.
I mean, because you couldn't.
Oh, probably.
I guess.
We discussed eating challenges and
yes,
my absurdities of eating pizza and all that stuff. So I think I could push at least 2.5 dozen.
In one sitting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bone in or nugs?
Bone in.
There's not much meat on those.
Yeah, he could probably do 2.5 dozen. That's still a lot of wings. That's 30 wings. That's a lot of wings. Like, I start to struggle at like 15 at this point in my old life.
I can do.
Maybe it's just me.
Yep.
Well, I guess we'll have to start to plan some more for the next episode of Into the Wild, but that'll wrap it up for this one. Another big thanks to Zach Strecker, who joined us on episode 4 of the podcast. Be sure to leave a rating, a review, subscribe to the channels, follow them, whatever word any of them are using right now, and smash that bell for new episode notifications. We'll catch you next time, even closer to the 2024 season here on Into the Wild.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.